So first thing I'm going to show you how to do is copy this segment using your compass. So first you make a new point. Let's call that C. You make a line that is longer than the other one. And then, or you could have not drawn that line. So you're going to put the compass, the sharp point here and the point that writes there. And then you're going to mimic it over here. So it'll be something like, it'll look something like this. And then where they intersect will be point D. And now CD is congruent to AB. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Here you're going to do something very similar. Make a little line here. Just making the angle so it doesn't matter how long it is. It just has to be longer than what you're about to do as the first step. So the first step is you put the sharp point on A, and then you make this arch here, making two new points, B and C. Okay? Then, right here, you put the sharp point on what I'm going to call D, and then you're going to make that same arc. So you're not going to change the opening. You're going to keep the same opening there. Okay? So now that you have this, you have to find out what this opening is. Okay? So you're going to put the sharp point here, put the other piece there, figure out what that opening is, and you're going to do that opening again over here, causing you to make this. So sharp point here on point E, and then we make now this new point F. Now if you connect D to F, you now have a congruent angle to the one on the left and the right. So now this is going to be a perpendicular bisector. So what you're going to do is put the sharp point here, put the other side past half or at half. It doesn't matter what it is. You just can't be earlier than half or you won't run into each other. So you want to maybe, this is kind of the middle. So we're going to kind of pass it and we're going to make one of these big arcs here. Now, using the same arc that you just did, you're going to go to B, sharp point here, and make this new arc here, causing this dot and this dot to be equidistant from A and B. So anything on this line after I connect it is also equidistant, causing this to be a bisector and causing it to be perpendicular. Now we'll do an angle bisector. So again, you're going to make this mark first, causing there to be another B and C point. Then you're going to pick something past the center, where you think the center is, and you're going to make a mark from C, sharp point to here. Then B, again, a sharp point here, and then making a new mark here. So you have this new dot that's equidistant from B and C. A is also equidistant from B and C, which means if you connect them, they are in the middle, and you have now bisected the angle. Now we're going to be talking about the distance formula. So the distance formula is going to be x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and then square rooted. So you're going to be subtracting the x's and then squaring them, subtracting the y's and then squaring them, and then adding them together and square rooting the last result. So in this situation, it would be 2 minus negative 5, 2 minus negative 5, and we're going to square that, plus negative 7 minus 1, going to square that. So 2 minus negative 5 actually turns into 2 plus 5, so that's going to be 7 squared, plus this is going to make negative 8 squared. This is going to make 49 plus 64, right? And this is going to make 113. And our final step is to square root. So the square root of 113 is going to be the distance between A and B. Now the next one is midpoint. Midpoint is x2 plus x1 divided by 2. And then it's going to be y2 plus y1 divided by 2. So that's the formula for this one. So very similar to the partitions over here. So we're going to add the x's. So now we're adding 1 plus -5 and dividing by 2. And then we're going to be doing 5 plus 11 and dividing by 2. And that's going to be our new coordinate. So it's going to be 1 plus -5, that's -4. -4 divided by 2 is -2. Then 5 plus 11 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is going to be 8. So our new location, the midpoint between these 2 points, is -2, 8. Now here, we're dealing with A and B, and our ratio is 2, 3, meaning A weighs 2 has the weight of 2, and B has the weight of 3. Okay, so total parts are 2 and 3, means there are 5 parts. So this first one is going to be multiplied by 2, and this second one is going to be multiplied by 3, causing us to have a new A and a new B, but we're not going to call them A and B anymore, so we're just going to have the multiples of these. So it's going to be 4, -2, and 21, 33, right? So now if we combine the x's, okay, we're going to combine the x's. So this is where it's going to be similar to this up here. So we're going to combine x's, making 25, and we're going to combine the y's, making 31, and we're dividing by how many parts we have, which in this section we'll have 5 parts. And that's going to give us 5, and 31 divided by 5 is 6.2. And that's it. That point is 2/3 of the way from A to B. And that's it.